Good evening. This is the monthly November Board of Fire Commissioners meeting for the town of Newcastle. And I'd like to start the meeting off with a pledge to the flag. Paul, would you do the honors, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence for our departed members, please. Thank you. Okay. Correspondence, we have two items. One, we've been in contact with Oak Lane. I've been emailing a little bit back and forth with them, and we're going to continue. We have another piece of correspondence from Mr. Carlock, and Mr. Carlock, I'd like to give you the floor while you're here.
Thank you. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys. And the issue, as I set forth in my brief email, are the lights in the back. I have no idea whether those lights were there before the trees came down or not, but the illumination from the lights is a problem now that the trees are not there for sure. Last year, when the leaves were down, I never even noticed them, to tell you the truth. But anyway, whatever the purpose of putting up the lights and illuminating the back parking area is, I'm sure we can come to some agreement on how to adjust the lights in some way to make everybody happy. As far as I can tell, the lights come on for maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they stay on until about 8. So you got 16 hours of lighting back there. There are 4 lights. Most of them are pretty big spotlights. They don't shine directly into our house, but the back of the building is situated in such a way it's on an angle. So all of our windows on this side get a significant amount of light, so much that I don't need to put a night light on when I get up 4 times at night. So it's whatever we can do to resolve that would be really helpful for us. And I know the lights are on a timing system of some kind, because one of them comes on before the rest do. So I'm assuming that there's more than one system in operation there. But you know, there are lots of things. If I knew why they were on and what the purpose was, and again, I don't have any objection to illuminating the place when it's occupied. So, you know, an event or obviously a fire run or a car run, it makes sense to light up the parking lot. But when there's nobody here, it seems to me that we can reach some other accommodation that'll satisfy you guys and make the lot in the back safe for the guys who are responding to a situation.
Sure.
Well, I'd like to speak to that. We did have a professional person come in to put the lights in. There were a number of lights back there that had been out for, I don't know, several, year or two, whatever, over the period of time. They were never replaced. For the safety of the firemen responding, that lot needs to be illuminated also for, you know, security purposes. And that's the main reason why they're there. When the professional came in, he had them angled into the lot so it wouldn't spill over into the site where the construction is going on. And we did it for really safety purposes for our firefighters responding at night. The other thing I'd like to bring to your attention though also, because I've come here all times of the night, there is another building over here that has large signage that shines right into the top floor of your house.
It does shine into
So I would
that.
take an opportunity to take a look at that. Okay, so I don't believe that these lights right now, it's only gonna be for a short period of time. The trees have been cut down, so that does impact, you know, any kind of shading that you may have gotten from the lights that were here originally. But these lights were replaced because they had not been working in a long time.
Well, just so you know, I can see a couple of those lights up there, and I see the neon signage for work, whatever.
Life Works, right, because that goes right over the fence toward your house.
That's not a problem. To tell you the truth. Those 4 lights in the back are 90% of the illumination problem that comes from this area. And although they're not pointed directly at the house, if I stand on my deck or I stand in the yard, I could play Frisbee back there. literally, that's not a joke. So, I mean, there are lots of things we can do. Put one light on, put it on a timer, put it on a motion sensor. And when that happens, it'll illuminate enough of the back so that whoever is coming from whichever direction, if they're going in the back door, they'll have enough light to find the keyhole, which I think is, obviously that's important. But I don't know why you have to have enough light to light up the entire place, including the surrounding properties. So I don't know, I'm willing to cooperate and work with you and try to find a solution that would help. I mean, obviously I can close shades, but that,
I wish
not a
Charlie was here
perfect
because he
solution.
worked on the project as well. So I just feel for right now, for the safety of the firemen responding, I understand what you're saying, but this was done for their safety, really. We do train back there, correct, Paul? You have training back there, so they don't have to go off site. We did put the screening on the fence over there to prevent car lights from going over to your, into your house. But I feel right now, given the advice we had on the professional that came, the way he angled the lights, I have to go on his recommendation. I understand what you're saying.
well, I invite you to come over, not tonight, obviously it's raining, but anytime you want, drive your car into my driveway and look toward the firehouse. And you will see what I'm talking about. It's very evident what the problem is as far as illumination is concerned.
Right.
But there's lots of stuff we can do. I mean, try one light and the first guy get here turns on the others. A motion sensor system. It seems
Motion
to me-
sensor, just so you know, didn't work under the information we were given because cars going up and down, they'd be going on and off. So that might be even a worse problem. Any kind of disturbance over there would cause the lights to go
You
on
have
and
two
off.
motion sensors on the side of the building with 4 lights there, and they never go off. Every once in a while, somebody goes in the wrong way, and then they activate.
It's a moot point, that driveway's closed.
It's closed, yeah,
which is
that won't
why
work.
Operationally, I'd be concerned about darkening the rear parking lot, because as you know, I've been arguing about us not having a point of egress from the backyard, and 2 o'clock in the morning, having my people who are responding to an alarm, then worry about turning lights on and off while they're trying to turn their cars around. I mean, if they are in a timer, maybe we can shut them off earlier in the morning, or turn them on an hour later, but, from the perspective, and Mr. Carl, I could be more than happy, the next night or two to take a swing in the driveway, because I'd be interested to see if it's because you can see the lights or the lights are shining into your property. And I know it sounds like semantics, but if it's, sitting in your driveway, look, oh yeah, those lights are really bright, lighting up the back of the parking lot, as opposed to like a headlight shining into your house itself.
If I didn't know they weren't aimed directly at my windows, I would think they were. They're that bright.
No, I understand that they're right, because when they were first installed, couple of late night alarms, I drove the neighborhood to see if they were shining into any area outside of the parking lot. And I will contend, yes, they are bright lights. But I had my feedback to Commissioner Zezzi and Commissioner Roush is that they weren't shining into adjacent businesses or adjacent residences. That, yes, it lights up the back of a firehouse and it's bright. Very similar to if you have to live next to rec field and that they've got the lights on for a game. The lights aren't shining into the house, but it's lighting up the area brightly.
Well, I won't deny it's lighting up the area brightly, but it is as bright as it would be if they were aimed directly at my window.
Well, first of all,
Maybe
this is,
surprised.
there's a security issue that nobody's mentioned about keeping the lot secure and the adjacent fence and everything else. And honestly, once the walls go up, which should have been done a while ago, I don't think there will be an issue for anybody.
That's probably true,
Okay, I'm just,
except once the walls go up, you're probably gonna wanna eliminate the back area behind the new walls. And
Yes.
you're gonna put up the same lighting that you have here over there. And then it'll be 4 times worse because you'll be much closer to my property.
actually, it will be.
Well, can I
It'll be towards the
interrupt?
back of the building, most of it.
Can I interrupt? Let's just stick on topic because we have a lot on the agenda tonight, but I do acknowledge the lights are bright. They are LEDs, but when we had them replaced, because this lot was dark and you have to admit it, for many years because the lights were out. We had them aimed correctly down into the lot, and our main goal was to light it and keep the safety of our responders in
Can I
mind.
just ask why the lights remained out for such a long period of time, if they were so essential to either security?
I mean, I'll be
or
lazy with you.
Safety.
I don't know, but laziness. Those lights should have been replaced a long time ago for a safety issue for people coming into this building. It was unsafe. People running in here at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, snowy nights, things like that. I cannot tell you why they weren't replaced, but out of safety and for our responders, we felt the decision had to be made to replace them, put them up, and bring that back parking lot up to where it should have been. And I'm sure you see a lot more light because there are no trees along your property line. I mean, that adds a lot to it.
Yeah, I was surprised because when the leaves are down, as they have been over the last couple of winters, we didn't notice a problem with lighting in the back.
Because there was none,
Well, if the lighting was
Well, it wasn't
deficient
that
at
there
that
was
level.
none,
There
there was
was
less,
one,
way less,
right.
yeah,
one light maybe.
yeah.
But, you know, we can't have people falling when they're coming to help other people. And it has happened.
So let me jump in here for an instant. I don't know if this is viable, but could you reach out to the professional guy that you had install them and give you guidance? Is there any way we could potentially put up a blinder on the lights so that it would still shine in the parking lot, but not to Mr. Collick's property?
I have to look into it and also see what the expense is.
Okay,
Wait, that's the question that I asked Mr. Carlock. Are
Okay.
the lights shining into his property, or is it just that the back of the firehouse is lit up so brightly?
It
I know
could
it
be.
sounds like semantics, but you know, putting a blinder on, if the lights are not currently shining into Mr. Carlock's residence, but it's a matter of fact that it's just a very bright
Mhm.
area, putting a blinder is not gonna do anything except incur more costs with regards to it. So if I could offer a suggestion, maybe you take a ride tomorrow night, look to see what the problem is, knock on Mr. Carlock's door, and then see what it is, because again, if it's just that the back of a parking lot is lit up very brightly, I'm not too sure what more there is to be done. If there's a light that's misaligned, happens to be shining in, by all means, we take care of it right away, angle it down, put a blinder up, whatever the case might be, but I think we really need to see what is
Yep.
the light issue that's being caused.
So between now and a few days, we're gonna reach out to you maybe tomorrow night or something like that, or next weekend or something. And we'll see if we can come up with some solution. Nancy and Charlie are on the House Committee, so I'm gonna defer to their maintaining of this and going forward to help you resolve this.
And that life works you're saying isn't an issue? Is that the lighting over here, it does not shine into your house at all?
Not really.
No?
It's bright. I don't like it. I can't wait
But
until you put up some landscape.
Well, that's what I'm
So
saying.
I don't have to look at
The
it.
reason I ask is because that is a direct shot to your house. So I'm just, you know, consider that as well, because that may be part of the
I'm surprised.
problem.
I came over and took a look at these lights. I thought they were shining, I thought they were pointed at my windows.
And they're
It's
not, they
that
really aren't.
No, I get that they're not. I was back here and I saw it myself,
Right.
but it's really, really light. I mean, whether they're shining directly into my windows or whether it's just that they're really bright. I mean, I'm surprised that you need that much illumination in the back. You know, Oak Lane has had lights up for quite a while, and I complain about those too, so you're not alone.
But they don't have people responding at 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, but they of course wanted them on late because they had cleaners coming to walk from their car into the back of the building. So they wanted to be safe for them, and they ended up putting up one light on a pole shining down, which I don't like, but it's a lot better than what I see here.
Okay,
You know, what
So-
I see here is hard to live with.
I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to let our House Committee members work with the professional guy, and maybe between us, we can take a ride over there and look in your driveway and just from the outside and see how obtrusive it is. Okay,
Yeah, if you can't reach me, you have my permission to come anytime you want, and look around. I don't, you know,
I think I have your number, actually.
I think you do.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
Thank you very much.
You got it.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks. I'd
Okay,
like to address Andy's.
Okay,
email.
thank you.
okay, we're gonna do that later.
Oh, not under correspondence?
Oh, I'm
Andy-
sorry, that's
Andy
correspondence,
Metcalf.
okay. All right, under correspondence, why don't you go ahead?
Oh, Christina, I'd asked you to put this on the agenda. I know it just came today, but we all received an email from ex-chief Metz regarding his concerns with the construction project. Any comments? Did everybody read it?
I read most of it, yeah. I didn't
Ed,
the
did you
whole thing.
read it?
Who's this from?
It's from ex-chief Andy Metz.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
Okay, Mike, did you
I
read it?
did.
Okay. I think ex-chief Metz has some valid concerns here. And I think this letter, this email must be addressed in a very timely manner, like tonight. Most of his questions that he lists in the back, he lists 6 of them. I believe most of them can be answered either now or tomorrow morning. And we respond to him
Well,
appropriately.
we'll have to, I have to read the thing fully. I didn't read it. It came during working hours, so I was not focused on that. But I will read it thoroughly and,
We need to
well,
respond to it.
well, I'm not disagreeing with it, but let me just see it real quick. So I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to read it and, send some emails back and forth and see what we wanna, how we wanna reply.
Because the same question that, the reason I'm bringing this up is because Chief Iden has asked many questions, even today. They go unanswered. Chief Maitland has been here. He's also sent emails, no responses. Barry Zezzi, former board member, has asked questions. I know he's even foiled, no responses. You know, it cannot go on like this. If you have members that are volunteering their time, they're officers, they're ex-chiefs, we have to answer them. It's just disrespectful and there's no reason not to answer them. And it's just, you know, Andy says we're buffoons. I believe we look like them by not responding to these questions that are fully available. Or just, yes, I received your email and I will take a look at it and
But
get
it only
back to
came
you.
in today, so give us a little slack here. We just came in today. So we have to have a
Dwight,
minute or two to
I
read.
disagree with that.
Note then, Dwight, what about the numerous things that I've sent over the last 48 to 72 hours that I haven't even gotten a middle finger as a response saying, got it, I'll take a look at it. You're looking at me quizzically. You answered ready right away about the stupid siren on the tower minutes after I sent the board a note about the cones that were out back. I didn't get the courtesy of any type of a reply. I sent a note to the board saying, wait a second, we're not gonna have a meeting with the contractors for over 5 weeks when it was canceled for Veterans Day. No response from anybody. Yeah, it's a good idea. We should have ready call a meeting. So I mean, I wasn't gonna bring it up tonight because it's a recurring theme. I send you guys a note. I even stopped sending emails and started sending texts. And I don't get a response. And I know you have my number because you happen to text me to tell me people were here waiting for me.
Mhm.
There's a common courtesy in this, and I'm not saying you have to answer it and say, delineate the next steps. But like even Lynn had suggested with Oak Lane, you get an email from them, respond to confirm receipt. So that at least people have the courtesy of saying, yep, I got your attention, I sent you a note. But for whatever reason, you refuse to answer me on stuff. You know, and I'm formulating a thought or I'm planning it, it doesn't fly. There is a common courtesy that could be and should be extended when someone reaches out to you with a question, a comment, even if to say, hey, stay in your lane, this doesn't concern you. But just to have stuff float around in the ether and not get any type of response is ridiculous.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. I apologize for that. You're right. I took it up with the cones. I was walking the dog. I saw, I'm sorry, the dumpsters this morning. I was walking the dog and I saw the dumpsters. I reached out to Reddy right away and he said, you and Nancy had actually already spoken. So I apologize for not being on it right away. I'm one of 5 members. We all have the ability to reply.
Exactly.
So I apologize for
It's
that.
on the committee for the project.
It's a committee, but it's only,
No,
it's
but-
not such a committee as only us can reply to you. The committee was made up by an outside person saying he only wanted 2 people from the board to be on the project, walking around the yard. That was
Before-
different. It's been morphed into a committee that only
Like,
2 of us can
before
talk
that
about.
even happened, Commissioner Frank, every January since he's been on the board, his assignment has been 491 King Street project. You have every minutes that you've got listed on there. But I have not been able to get a response from Commissioner Frank unless it's something he views that I'm slamming him or sending something inappropriate. But if this was the Sunshine Children's Home, or this was Conifer, where Commissioner Frank was communicating and pushing back to the board, the town board regularly, that's why I'm flummoxed, why I can't get a response. Again, any one of the board, Commissioner Zezzi does respond, say, got this. But nobody, it's just to me, you guys don't know who's responded, who's not. And again, about the dumpsters. You're walking the dog. Okay, I get that. You know I'm awake because I sent an email. Paul, we're on this. We're talking already right now. Great, done. I can move on from it. Because everything that comes across here,
Okay.
I then in turn have to communicate to the department.
So as I said, I apologize for that. You are absolutely right. I can't fault you in any way about I can't speak to the other board members, my lack of responsiveness to you. I've said it before. I say it again now. I apologize. I will be more responsive to incoming emails. I apologize. Like I say, I was walking the dog and then later on it was the cones. I did reach out to Reddy. You're right. I could have just as easily responded, CC'd you included. I actually called him at one point about them. So I apologize. I can't say much more.
But there's no
Alright.
need for you to keep apologizing.
Well,
As
It's
you
a
said,
matter,
there
it's a,
are-
and may I interrupt?
Like,
It's a matter of
issues
me
like-
doing something
issues
different.
like the dumpster
Yeah,
is, they're in the lot, obviously, members need to park their cars.
Sure.
It's, Paul should have the authority to contact Reddy directly, I think.
and he did, right?
And I did,
Yeah.
Right.
because
And
first
did
I
he
sent-
get back to you right away?
Jeez.
Not right away, but first I sent it at courtesy, I sent it to the board.
Right.
Because that's the reporting line, did not get a response, and then I went to Reddy.
Okay.
You know,
And
and
how long did he take to get back to you?
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
He was and that kind of brings up a sidebar. 20 to 8 in the morning, he gets back to me, he's on his way to the site. If our work hours are 7 to 5, why is the project manager not here making sure the contractors are abiding by the rules that are in that document that they distribute every week, or every 2 weeks?
Interesting question. We can certainly bring it up to him.
I just want to say the point is, if somebody sends an email, a letter, we have to get back to these people, especially being, under construction. And we know we have people watching. You can't take 2 months to respond to anybody. Even a FOIL, FOILs have set amounts of time that you have to respond, not I'm gonna respond whenever I want to. So you don't know whether Oak Lane's gonna send a FOIL or whomever, and there's no need for you to apologize, just that these letters and emails have to be, you have to acknowledge them and respond to them,
Okay,
period. And Andy is 100% correct in what he says. So I would hope that, he can receive the courtesy of a response in a timely manner.
okay, I'm gonna curtail this topic and we're gonna go on to the next one. Chief, your report. Do you have any further comments you want to make on that?
No.
Has everybody had a chance on the board to read it?
Yes.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Shall we entertain a motion to refund the chief's fund to 3248?
I make a motion.
Okay, second, please.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Well, how many sets of turnout gear did you order?
10.
10?
All right, anything else, Paul?
Yeah, he's the guy who talked with his. Well, I think we can expect he's going to back to me right away with. I told him what it's, he knows exactly why.
As long as we get
Yeah,
it for you.
yeah, exactly.
Cool, thanks.
Paul was,
One positive thing. Paul and various members, numerous members are here every Sunday. Teaching the new members how to get ready for firefighter 1. And they're here for how long are you here? 4 to 5 hours?
Yeah, I mean, these kids have been putting in about 6 hours a week in total, yeah.
Right.
Kaylee, myself, and Chief Zezzi, working with these kids every Sunday morning. These kids are dedicated. They're here at 8:30. They're not here at 8:45. They're not here at 10 o'clock. They are showing up a little before 8:30. We're doing all sorts of drills with them. They're eager, they're anxious, they're really invigorated to be here. They can't wait to take the next firefighter 1 class. That should be probably February timeframe.
Right, you had Chief Maitland here.
Yeah.
Right, he was here, and
The assistant.
Mark, I forgive
Well, he-
Mark
he
Olney.
stopped in, but he just graduated
Right.
firefighter one up in Orange County.
Correct, so he took it in Orange County over a period of 3-4 months.
Yeah, he actually ended up taking a blended learning class because he travels for work. and
Right.
He wasn't able to commit to the regular schedule that they had down in Valhalla. So we gave him permission to commute to Orange County, for the blended class, so it wasn't as many in person. And then coincidentally, because the Valhalla, the burn buildings are not functional, they actually do all the live burns for firefighter one up in Orange. So he ended up being with Maria, one of our other new members, who successfully completed TOAC, and she completed her live burn. She's got another couple of classes for her final exam, but we'll have 2 more adult members who are fully qualified. We just have to do bailout with them to get their interior status established, so.
But
That's
I
great.
just want to
That's great.
say you should be commended, and any commissioner that's around on a Sunday morning, please stop by and see what they're doing, because they're
Okay.
working hard. Mark should be commended too, because he was here with 2 other members of his class. I think one was
Yeah,
from
they're practicing
Elmsford, and
calls and say, "Can we come and
Yep.
use the firehouse to practice donning?" Sure, by all means. Look, I think as a professional myself, there's no way I could take firefighter one now with the time requirements that are engaged. And like I said, with these high school kids, it was kind of a litmus test to see if you're gonna show up at 8:30 every Sunday morning, but I know you wanna be here, and these kids have been fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And these are high school age kids?
Yeah, they're juniors, so we're gonna have them for a few
That's
years.
good.
One of them asked permission, and he's trying to rebuild the hydrant map in the radio room as a school project.
Mhm.
It's a
One of
great
the other
project.
kids is
Yeah.
very interested in the chemistry of firefighting, and we're gonna see for his senior experience if we can get him hooked up with the hazmat team.
Mhm.
One of the other kids, we're gonna try to get him into the Fairview program that they have for senior experience, where the kids basically ride with Fairview for a month. So it's a lot of good stuff with the younger members for sure.
Sounds good.
Paul, is
Sounds
that Fairview also considered a summer internship? Because I know
No, it's,
Sam Auerbach did it.
but not for the summer. He did it for the senior experience.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone that we've sent has done. We've got a really good relationship with Chief Reese.
Mhm.
And we've sent probably 6 or 7 high school kids over the last 6 or 7 years to do their senior experience, their final hurrah with Greeley at the Fairview Fire Department. They take our gear and they do everything that career firefighters do. So as long as they've got their firefighter one and all their certifications, so.
Great opportunity.
Yeah.
With that.
Okay, approval of expenditures is the next item. Katie, you wanna jump in on that? Well, we already approved that.
Oh,
We already approved that. So I thought there was some other approval of expenditures now. Oh, I see it, part of that. I'm sorry. Okay. Missed that.
Do you want me to read off the
Um,
officer for the minutes?
well, let's just do the minutes real quick here. Approval of the minutes, the previous minutes. Okay, anybody had any questions or offer any suggestions, corrections for the minutes that were handed out by the secretary? Any questions,
I've just-
concerns?
I've said it's a number of times, and you know what I'm gonna say. Please get them out within 2 weeks from the meeting. It's the law. It's in the job description, so please do that.
And I didn't.
Okay, just please do that, okay? Especially, again, since people are watching, but they have to get out within 2 weeks.
They're always available in that status.
Right, but please send them to them, at least the board, and put them up on the website.
So with respect to the October 15th special meetings, anybody have any questions or concerns? If not, may we vote to approve as submitted? May I have a motion to approve?
Yeah, I make a motion, we approve the minutes from 10/15/24, the
October
public
15th.
hearing.
The
minutes.
budget,
Okay.
I'll second
All
that.
right, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed, thank you. Next meeting is the 17th of October. It was a regular monthly meeting. Anybody have any questions, concerns? Can we get a motion to approve them as submitted by the secretary?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, thank you. Okay. October 21st, a special meeting. Anybody have any questions, concerns? Nothing heard. May we approve these? I'd like to hear a motion to approve, please.
Okay,
Motion to approve.
All right, a second, please.
second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed, thank you. So approved, okay. Budget public hearing minutes, that's what we just did, those three, boom, boom, boom. Treasurer's report.
So in the main account. We wrote checks totaling 41,503.02. In the H fund capital projects account, we wrote checks totaling 172,378.19. In other news, I have been in touch with Jer at BSD. He's our audit contact. He's going to come here and audit us the day after Martin Luther King Day. I think that's the 22nd of January. So that's on the schedule. And oh no, we had the mail meter. We were gonna talk about that. Or do you want to wait? New business for that, Christine?
Let's do it now.
So we, I guess this machine is getting decertified in the new year, so the budget people have been in touch and, they want us to sign a new contract for a new lease for the equipment. Originally it was $19.99. I talked her down to $16.99 just because it was a big jump from the quarterly payment we had been paying. So if you guys feel like it's appropriate to, have the meter here, just looking for an okay, to go ahead and sign that.
So the question is, an electronic postage meter, like a Pitney Bowes type thing, or we apply stamps as appropriate? Okay, so, let's do.
On this, so I did do some research and we have about $2,200 in credit at this outfit. So I don't know if they would refund it. I'm sure we could get them to refund it if we opted to not use the
Right.
meter. But that's a factor.
Can they put that towards this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I assume, I just got that information
Okay.
today, so I can follow up with her, but I would certainly assume they can't take our money, you know?
Well,
Right.
is it used a lot? I mean, do you use that meter a lot?
I use it just for the bills, but
Do you use it, Christine? You do? I'm just thinking, is it worth it to have, or?
Usually it's a few cents less than the regular postage
Yeah,
rate.
it's a couple of cents. But, how much is that machine?
It's $16.99 a month.
yeah. That's a month.
$17 a month, yeah, so it doesn't,
Thing that the new one will weigh,
Uh,
so
Just,
so if
just
it's
for the
overweight-
convenience of it, I'd say,
yeah.
I know,
Keep it.
otherwise we're gonna be running to the post office.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of a pain.
Yep.
it is.
I just was
that's, I
wondering.
mean, the
if it's used-
convenience
Right.
of it is just worth it itself.
And
Right,
it's
so-
like you said, Christine, it weighs everything.
So especially if we've got a credit with them, we might as well try and burn through that with this new contract. Anybody have any other questions? Do we want to proceed with the new postage meter? Let's get a motion on that if we could, please.
At $16 a month?
Make a motion to proceed.
$16.99.
Okay, we have a motion. May we get
Yeah,
a
I'll
second?
second that.
And all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it looks like we got it. Can you work with them and see if we can use that credit for
Oh,
this
certainly.
first year?
I will run that $2,200 down.
Yeah,
Yeah, Paul,
Wondering, we skipped over on the chief's report. I had a question regarding the, under old business, under policies.
I asked you if there was any more, and I guess you didn't hear me, or I didn't say it loud enough. I
Normally
apologize.
I read through my report, but you had jumped right to expenses, so I thought.
I thought, no, I thought there was more.
I think I heard.
I thought if there was more, you'd say something. Sorry. So please go ahead. We'll get back to
The
finance.
status of the pending policies that we've been waiting on for several months.
Well, I could talk to that.
Would you?
So we started in
Okay.
May 6th, as a matter of fact, to review the policies. There are multiple mandatory policies. We've done most of them. Right now, there are 6 that are left, that are outstanding, that have to be done. There's, they're required. Firearms policy, the procurement policy, which we
Yeah, I
have.
read that. That's
Okay, I've-
going to Mike.
Okay, substance abuse policy, workplace violence policy, exposure and prevention policy, and a maternity policy. We have the procurement policy, workplace violence policy, and exposure prevention and decon policy. Those have all been distributed. Workplace and exposure, nothing came back from the board, they've been distributed. The procurement policy, we had the old one that you said you wanted to keep.
Yeah, I've read
Right.
through that.
Okay, Mike Legori suggested that we go with an updated policy
Right.
because it includes a piggyback component where you can go off of Fairview's, for example, off the contract that they have or someone else. They've already done the work. That's highly recommended. The old policy does not have it. There's also other components in here such as using CoreCraft, the Division of Corrections and other things. So that's something that we should look into. It was distributed. Again, nothing came back. The only thing that, if you decide to do that, is to take a look at the dollar thresholds as to,
Yeah, that's the only thing that he'd have to look at because this one's outdated, things are.
that's what I'm saying. So this one was approved last month, but the new one, if you want to read, take a look at it again, because it was already distributed, and then take a look at the dollar thresholds, where you want to put them. The town's policy has multiple components. It includes green purchasing, different things like
Right.
that. Their thresholds are a little bit different, and really, in my opinion, the other four, if you could take a look at it, you may have other thoughts on where the dollars are with regard to going out to bid, getting quotes to purchase low-level items. So what does the board want to do with the procurement policy? Because it's been hanging around. You want to keep the old one, which was decided last month to keep? Or do you want to take a look at, again, the procurement policy that Mike
When did
LaGore
Mike send this
suggested
out?
in
I
May?
don't think
In May, and then it was, I don't know, a month or two ago sent
I
out.
never got that.
I'd
Well,
like to revisit that one there if
Okay.
it's got the
I'll send
new,
it out again.
would you? That'd be
Okay,
great.
Yep,
Because if it's got stuff that allows us to do piggybacking within our policies, because that's how
Yeah.
we bought the last chief's car. And it worked well.
yeah, I
So
mean, I
it
think
makes
that's,
sense.
you should have,
Sure.
again, it's, everyone should take a look at it. Okay, the exposure and prevention and decon policy, it was sent out. Mike Legori and team looked at it. They're okay with it. What would you like to do?
I'd like to approve it. I
Yeah,
thought
that'd be approved.
Okay, and that should go to the membership
Mhm.
for review. So we'll take
We have
care of that.
another bundle of policies, if we could create a second PDF of all the newer ones, then I can distribute them in mass to the departments, and then we'll do the sign off sheet for everything.
Okay, Charlie and Ed, have you had a chance to look at this policy?
No.
No? Well, then we can't vote on it.
Okay, so you have that in soft copy? Can you just send it out to us again?
Yep,
And
so this will be
the-
held
the
another
current-
month then.
The current one.
Okay, that's gonna be held for another month. And then
It was being voted on last month.
it was said, okay, Yeah.
It wasn't in the minutes either.
yes, it should have been. All right, so we're gonna look at the new one. Workplace violence policy, did everybody have a chance to look at that one?
I did.
Okay, okay, there are questions on that with regard to, the items that are carried on the trucks. Okay, we have axes, different things like that. So the questions went to Mike Legori and he didn't respond. So, Wednesday, I met with representatives from the, New York State Insurance Fund. They actually came here to go through our building and look at things with regard to, how do we minimize workers' comp? Slip, trip and falls, things like that. They were very good. They're coming back in December. Okay, but
Coming back with their results?
no, they're coming back here to talk to
Oh,
me
to-
again
Okay.
about other items. However, while we were talking, I mentioned the workplace violence policy. And they offered to help me put paragraph or something in there to cover us. So all of the items that we carry on the trucks, your Leatherman, things like that, will not fall into a category of being a dangerous item, because it's something the members use in the course of their activities while they're here. So, I'm gonna scan our workplace violence, policy to them, to the reps. They're gonna take a look at it. They're gonna come back with feedback just for that one paragraph that will cover everything. And once I get that, I'll send it out to the board for review.
Good.
Okay, so there are now 3 policies in the works of the 6 that we have outstanding. So who would like to take the firearms policy and review it? Okay, Mike, you could do that. Substance abuse policy, volunteer.
I'll do that.
Ed, you got that one? And then, maternity?
I think you're kind of a. No, I think that would work for you. Well, I mean, who else gets,
Well, I
Well,
think,
how would a woman get in that position?
yeah,
All right, I'll take maternity, and then we're done with the mandated policies as set forth by Mike Legori in the state of New York. We have several more that are in the works, that we should take a look at.
Did Mike review the workplace, the violence?
Yes,
He was okay with that?
he was okay with it,
Because
but he
I
suggested,
recall reading it a few months back, but I'm gonna look at it again, like, there's one thing in there I wanna,
he did have a question about how we could reword some of the,
cause there's
So-
things in there as far as like, if there's an incident, like if someone's gonna be suspended indefinitely until, God forbid, there's a court proceeding or anything, you know, obviously someone's innocent until proven guilty, you know, so.
Committee is that?
if somebody's suspended.
No, there should be a workplace violence committee that reviews any, person that files.
I think.
Right, well, that's gonna go to the board regardless.
Right. they
But
used to have
if there's anything criminal involved, the board is not gonna act
But the
until,
committee, it's actually supposed to be posted on the sign who your committee is. And that way the people have like the
Oh, a place to
information
go
who
to?
they're supposed to.
I see.
Uh,
Yeah,
the main question that Mike had on that was how we wanted to, classify the tools that are carried on the trucks.
Sucks.
So, the, New York State insurance one will help me with that one. I'll get that out. And so at least we have all but 3 policies in the works. So next month, we'll have firearms, substance abuse, and maternity come back here, and then this way, all the mandated ones will be looked at. And then January 1st, they all have to be reviewed again.
That'll be a lot easier.
but just a quick scenario to keep in mind when you're looking at the firearms. Number of members have full carries. And being the fact we're volunteer, we never know when we're coming to the firehouse.
Right, they could have one
And
on.
we don't have facilities to secure them. You know, for anyone who happens to have the chief's vehicle, there's no place to secure it in there, and they're unlocked and running at a scene because we need the radios on. So just something to keep in mind when you're taking a look at it.
Right.
Anything else on policy?
No, thank you, because
Paul, anything else on that topic? Policy wise?
No, just like I said, the commissioner says he touched on it, you know, January 1st is gonna be here sooner than
Mhm.
later.
Yeah,
So maybe over the next 5 weeks, figure out your strategy for reviewing these next year, so we don't have to go through the same
I-
cycle.
I think it would be wise for each board member to take policies that they're comfortable with and review them so that come February meeting or even before, we're ready to go and we'll be able to say these 3 policies or these 5 policies, these 4 policies, we'll have them, a bunch of them will be able to work through them easily.
In
Yes.
other organizations, it just goes on the reorg meeting as you're reaffirming all of the policies if there are no changes.
Okay, well, because this is our first year, we probably want to just review them. And I think we can do that on our own. And then certainly we can bring it up at the reorg, certainly.
And then I just asked Paul, if you could just let Christine know how you want those PDFs done to go out to the membership, maybe after these other ones are
Yeah,
approved.
whatever the next batch, like the first batch, that's one set of PDF, we can leave that as is. Whatever
Uh-huh.
the next ones are that are approved by the board and ready to go out, if we could just PDF those as one packet. So in essence, the membership will have 2 packets of policies that one they've already received, the new one that's coming. Then at the December department meeting, if they'll be ready in time, or worse, January, I'll physically have people sign the acknowledgement form. And does that have to be signed annually, or is it an initial, I've received and reviewed them, and we only have to do that if you make changes to it?
No, it's an initial.
I believe it is the initial one. The board has to review them or should have been reviewing them on an annual basis. I will double check with Michael Gord on that.
Okay, anything else on policies? Anybody? Okay, All right, sorry to have jumped out of that. Do you have anything else on the chief's report? Paul?
We're good at that point.
Okay, thank
The
you.
one member, as I mentioned, who was gonna be up for election, I'd never received the application from patrol, so he's gonna have to wait till next month.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna jump back to the treasurer's report. Where did we end off? You were talking about the postage meter. I think we approved that,
And we have one other, the Alpine.
right?
And I think it seems to make sense to do a 3-year, just because it locks in a rate, rather than having it be a surprise every year. And it will save us, a few $100. And to do the 5-year, it really only saves a couple $100, so I think it makes sense to just do the 3-year, so we're not locked in for the 5-year. It's kind of the happy medium, so.
And there's really only two vendors that provide that type of software. One is I Am Responding, which we demoed and we didn't care for. So unless there's some substantive change in Alpine and Red Alert, I envision us continuing them for at least 3 years. I think it's worthwhile.
When you've had problems in the past, are they responsive and helpful and?
Well, for a fee, everybody responds.
Okay,
Maybe that's what I should do.
Well, and
Maybe to answer me.
it says product, Red Alert Records Management System, platform, Red NMX.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But it's
Alpine is the
from
parent company,
parent,
and the
yeah.
software within Alpine is Red Alert.
Red MX.
or
Gotcha.
Red
Red
MX
MX.
is the
Got it.
mobile version.
Okay.
Is that where your training records are kept to?
Everything is in there.
Everything's
When the
in there?
new member joins, once they're approved by the board, I enter terms for Red Alert, they're
Mhm.
assigned a number, that's how they come in, that's how I track attendance, that's all our alarms. When I do our NIPERS reporting to the state annually, it's a download directly, that's our legal books and records for
Okay.
the fire response, basically.
okay, so we should, I think, have a vote on that, and Katie has recommended a 3-year. You're okay with that, chief?
I think it's a wise
Okay.
idea.
All right, may I get a motion to approve the renewal of Alpine Software Red Alert, Red MX for the term of 3 years, Katie, was it? Okay, may I get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that
on
motion that we approve,
Okay.
Alpine Software, Red NMX, software for 3-year.
Okay, may we get a second for that, please?
Second.
All right, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those
Just,
opposed?
could you insert the period of time? When does it start?
Yeah.
January?
It'll, I think it's actually, again, a weird term. I think it starts December 1st for 12 months. It's still 12 months.
Okay. Just, we should insert the time frame for that contract.
Let me pull it up to be certain.
Would it be appropriate now, Christine, do you think, to do the resolutions?
Budget amendment?
Yeah.
Well, for part of the treasurer.
Okay, so we have and it's not permissive, right? Okay,
budget.
so, okay, so we have a resolution or a referendum, I guess, no, resolution, yeah, a resolution. I'll just read it, it's very short. Be it resolved as follows, the Board of Fire Commissioners of Newcastle Fire District Number 1 hereby approves the budget amendment in the amount of $73,100 from the unassigned fund balance in the 2024 budget for the purchase of a vehicle and transferred to budget line A34102-602 vehicle purchases. This is for the new chief's pickup truck that we have on order. So does anybody have any questions? If not, I'd like to get a motion that we approve this. I'd like to have each commissioner give me an A or a yay or nay, please. Mr. Frank.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Roush.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Smith is yay, Madam Zezzi,
Yes.
Mrs. Zezzi, and Mr. Soldo.
Yes.
Okay, all 5, so it's unanimous. Okay, I guess we'll do I thought individual bid.
No, you do a motion in a second and then you do the roll.
I'm sorry, I did it backwards. I didn't have
I'll
it on the
make the
sheet.
motion. We
All right, please do.
approve this resolution.
Thank you, and I'll put roll.
Yeah. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Well, I'll
Opposed?
second it.
There you go, let's do that too. All right, so I'm sorry, I was just following the sheet and it didn't have it, so I apologize for that. Okay. Anything else on that we need to talk about?
Yeah, so back to the Alpine, I know it was slightly weird term, but it's.
I'm looking at an invoice here, Katie, and it seems like it's year to year, January 1 to December 31.
Oh, okay, so here it says January 1 to January 1, 2026. So I don't know why they throw the extra day
Yeah,
in
what the
there.
invoice I'm looking at
Yeah,
says.
so it's a calendar year.
Yeah, it's calendar. year.
Okay, so 25. 26,
So for
27.
year 1 is 11,515, year 2 is 12,090, spot 75. Year 3 is 12,695, spot 29.
So it expires 12/31/27.
No, 1/1/2028.
Yes, it goes January to January,
That
which
is
is
weird.
How
different,
can they
yeah.
do the same day twice?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, like I said, I'm looking at an invoice and it's actually 1/1 to 12/31.
It is, yeah, so I don't know why they write it like that. There's gotta be
Okay.
a reason, but.
Okay, so, we've approved it now and we're good to go, right, on that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, committee reports. I have a fairly short one today. Engine 144, the brakes are working as they should, and the only thing that we're waiting for now is the sound and heat abatement from foam that started to peel and shred. As soon as the dry weather and the brush fires have become less serious, we'll send the truck up to the vendor for the old foam to be removed and the new to be installed. I've talked to the chief and he says that it's okay for us to send it up on Monday, and I'll work with the vendor tomorrow to set that up. There is still a broken bolt on 146 that secures one of the ladders. It's a spring-loaded bolt that has a kind of a D-shaped handle. I'm still looking for the appropriate bolt and thread to get that replaced on 146. We had another vendor that was looking at it, but we've since parted ways with them and we're not gonna follow through with them at all. The standby generator outside, the water pump and the associated hoses were all replaced and the generator was tested and it works fine. That's all I've got really on this month.
Did we ever get an invoice from that other vendor or did they just let it go?
I can bring that up, sure. So they did send an invoice. It was a lot higher than I expected it was going to be. I sent a note to Katie and she reached out to them. And we told them that we're completely unhappy and unsatisfied, and it was work that was not worth paying. So we're kind of up in the air right now. They haven't gotten back to us, and this is what, 3 weeks now? 2 or 3 weeks? So we're not sure where that stands, but we're gonna compile a whole portfolio of all the back and forth and the timeframes and all this kind of stuff. And we'll see what they come back to us with. And if we have all our papers and ducks in a row, if it comes to it, we can get that up to Mike if he needs it for any reason.
November 6th, I sent her a note. It's my understanding these charges are in dispute.
Yeah.
Please let me know what your understanding of the situation is. And I know you talked
Yeah.
to the guy, so. And we.
I talked to him
just haven't heard
twice.
from them.
I talked to him twice, yeah.
And they picked up the wrong shoes, correct?
What they had done is they had ordered the drums for the rear of the truck. And they installed the wrong shoes.
Right.
And those shoes were tried for several days at their shop and here to be adjusted to correctly stop the truck.
They were for a lighter weight.
They were for a lighter weight vehicle.
Gonna work.
And once the other truck shop solved the problem and discovered these shoes were incorrect, they took them out and returned them to us. And then the company that initially installed them came over and got them.
Yeah, that was the reason why they picked them up. I mean, I definitely feel that we should pay for the drums and the labor associated with replacing the
Yeah.
drums, but I would ask them for the Chilton's labor rate on what it is to replace
Yeah.
the drums, and we shouldn't pay for replacing the brakes.
No, I completely agree, and I actually mentioned that to Katie, that there is some work that was performed satisfactorily, hardware that was installed and satisfactory. And so we will pay the fair amount that, we should. Okay, so that's all I have. Commissioner Frank,
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
on
go
that
ahead.
note, did you mention that they put people's lives in danger?
if
that could,
it wasn't for Chief
was the
Zezzi,
truck out on the road?
no. Well, it was on the road coming back from their shop, but that's it.
We
So-
never put it in.
No, we
service.
never did. So as I started to say, Chief Zezzi has a commercial driver's license.
Yep.
And he tested it before we allowed it to go on the road, twice or 3 times even. And he determined that it was unsafe. And it wouldn't pass the CDL pre-trip inspection, I think it's called. So thanks to him, nobody got hurt.
Anytime we have a piece of apparatus that goes out for work other than preventive maintenance, before I put it back in service, I ask one of our CDL drivers to go through a standard test like they do as part of their daily
Mhm.
routine with the highway truck, so.
And I would think that he found it was excessive stopping distance.
Well, actually, the test requires you to pull the emergency brake.
Yeah.
And accelerate slightly. Take your foot off the regular stopping brake.
Yeah.
Accelerate slightly, and I
Mhm.
think it was 1,200 RPM or something like that, you're supposed to get up to, and the truck doesn't move. He was only getting it up to 500, 600, 800 RPM, and the truck was creeping along several times,
Mm.
twice. And then when we finally got it corrected by this other outfit, it performed just as it should, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it makes
detected
sense
it.
because the brakes that were installed were for a lighter weighted vehicle
Yeah.
other than the Pierce that we had.
Mhm.
And so the argument that we had is, well, wait a second, you've got the vehicle there, you should look up what the problem
Right.
are.
Yep.
But the fact that they were brakes designed for a lighter weight vehicle makes sense.
Well, that
why
was
it's
my
not gonna
concern.
pass.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Frank.
Okay, so, the, Scarsdale Security Department was here. And they repaired the screen in the office on the left. In fact, it's working better than it was working before. The tech spent maybe half an hour to 45 minutes, did this, that, and the other thing, rebooted a couple of times and working fine now. He did mention, though, he thought if it's more than 10 years old, we might think about someday replacing all that equipment. I don't know how old it is. So anyway, that's working good as far as technology goes.
And Nancy and I heard it making a noise
It's
too.
not making a noise.
Right, I
They-
could
they-
hear it. No, before with the door open, you could hear the fan like,
Yeah,
like,
I didn't hear it and the tech didn't hear it either.
we
Yeah,
heard
We
it.
heard it.
It was loud.
It was loud and grinding.
When?
That,
Somewhere during the week,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, over here.
I'm talking about today. It is not making noise
Oh, no.
today.
No,
I
I'm
don't
just
know,
saying,
I don't know what happened in the past. It is not making
No,
noise.
I'm just saying, we heard it making a noise, it's not making a noise
Yeah,
now.
and the tech didn't find anything wrong with that.
Okay,
So it's good. Okay, in terms of the project, I sent this out to everybody, including the chief. I attended an hour and a half meeting last week. Maybe 15 people were there. Two NYSDOT reps were there, and Darius and someone else, I forget his name. There were several town of Newcastle representatives, including a few building department representatives, a couple of water department representatives, a DPW representative, and the Chappaqua or Newcastle Police Chief. And the whole point was, and of course, JMC was there, Key, Eastport, and Triton. The focus of the meeting was to ensure that all work affecting NYSDOT roads are not disruptive and are done within acceptable days and hours, rules and regulations. They were very clear and strict on how it was to be done. And then it was stated that due to the delay in getting the project started, the asphalt plants are now closed and it's put on hold. Any asphalt that's needed is put on hold until next March. The folks from the town engineer, he was asked, well, can we do work on the site in an area that's not near the landscaping? No, because the town supervisor just laid it on the line. Nothing is happening there until everything is done. Well, everything now is done. the stop work order was lifted on this past Tuesday and construction started Wednesday. So, that's where we are right now. And in fact, they were out there today loading in some stuff. And I know that the company that brought the dumpsters put them in the parking lot because the gate was closed. According to Triton and the information that was handed out, nothing starts until 7 a.m. And I think they were here at 5:30 or something like
5:30, yeah,
that.
something like that.
So, things happen. Anyway, that's my report.
Okay,
Is there any price yet on the golden bathroom?
Oh, I'm sorry.
we
Is there a
haven't,
price back yet on the golden bathroom?
we haven't talked to Keel yet,
No,
Kyle yet about that. He's still working up a price. He's got, I think he sent it out to the.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for
contract.
Kate.
Yeah, he's gotta wait for them to get back to
Yeah.
him on the price.
right.
And is there gonna be a joint meeting before December 7th or that date, or we're?
Well, we
just
got
gonna wait
December
now?
9th, I think, right?
Right, well, because we didn't have the meeting for Veterans Day.
No, I agree with you on that, Paul. We missed 2 straight meetings, and like you said, it's
I mean,
too
I
much time.
really, my personal opinion, a project of this size with all the issues that have come up so far before much has even been done. I really think you should tell Reddy and Kevin that you want a weekly meeting till this is moving along and making some progress. There's too much stuff that can happen.
there really
in the
is.
interim That's,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna reach out to him on, tomorrow, Friday.
Okay, if you do that, I was gonna.
With all
do
the
that,
stuff
but if you
going
wanna
on
do that-
with the stop work order, maybe, I mean, a weekly meeting, maybe every 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
or-
I think is enough.
well, then you have to
personally.
hold them to the 2 weeks, because
Sure.
over
Yeah.
the last 3 months, there's been huge gaps where, okay, Monday fell on Columbus Day or the Indigenous Peoples' Day, we didn't meet. Veterans Day, we didn't meet. So it's, the holidays coming up, it's gonna get even worse, and again, there's so much going on that I think board needs to be in lockstep with Reddy and Kevin, because things are slipping through the cracks.
I mean, I agree with you, Paul. It should probably be weekly, even if just to have it on the phone. A phone conference that people could dial into and have it rather than have it in person. Because you could have, the meeting could be 5 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, it could be half an hour.
Do you want to speak to Reddy or do you want me to do it?
Would you, if you were planning on, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, and personally, I think twice a month. What do you think?
Listen, I don't particularly care. I think if he has something, he will reach out to us more frequently.
Mhm.
But I mean, if it is coming to the holiday season, so another couple of meetings, it's probably not gonna hurt. But at the same time, I don't know if he's gonna be going away on vacation. I don't know. So why don't you talk to him and see
I'll
what he can
talk to
do?
him tomorrow.
Say our preference would be once a week. Our
Okay.
preference would be once a week. If he can stick to that, even if we have to shift it a day here or a day there. Right? So at least we get some updates. But if he can't do every week, then we'll slide it to 2 weeks. But as Paul said, we've gotta
These
stick
meetings
to
have
it.
to be stated.
Yeah, so we'll state it. We'll make sure that they're,
Keep the
Down.
current meeting schedule and invite him to come to the board meetings.
Yep.
As long as it's not within the same week, that defeats the purpose, and then have a half-hour update.
I have no problem with that. No
And
problem.
this way,
It
you're
makes sense.
not taking up any more of your time. If you start the meeting at 6:30 with the update for the project, and to Charles's point, 10 minutes, worse, it's a half hour, and you're starting the board meeting at 7 o'clock, it used to be anyway.
No, that's good.
All right.
And if Reddy's not available, he has somebody working for him, right? He has somebody that takes his place, so,
I
I
don't
mean, I
know.
would expect Kevin would be here.
yeah, so we don't have to work
Because
around
that
somebody's
happened
schedule.
The last meeting, wasn't Kevin here, because Reddy was on vacation?
Mhm.
Something, yeah.
Can I just ask, who said the blacktop plants are closed?
I did.
The state did. Wasn't it the
Who
state?
said the state?
Yeah, it's a well-known fact.
They just did massive paving work in Pleasantville yesterday.
Uh,
And my understanding, talking to a bunch of people, and I suggested you call the highway department to see if any of the plants are open. Some of them stay open all year round.
Reddy told me that some points are open.
Yeah, he told me
And-
that.
and they
one.
can-
Plant that
and
our
you
team
can pour.
usually would use in town definitely closes seasonally. But there's a massive plant in, I believe it's the Bronx or Queens,
Oh, right.
that is used as the
Yeah.
regular line for If they need to hot box something in the winter, they can go and get it, and that's why they got a tow, the little hot thing behind
Yeah,
it. keep
yeah.
it warm,
I'm
but
not questioning that, I'm just saying that there are some plants, my understanding,
Yeah.
that they can get blacked out if they need it, so.
Yeah,
you know,
So-
I'm only repeating what Reddy told.
I'm just saying, you know, the delay stuff really has to stop, that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
So bring it up to him that there
Okay.
are plants like down in the Bronx, maybe
In the
Mount
Bronx,
Vernon or whatever it was. If the one up here in Katona, whatever it is, if they close, okay, there's others a little further away, maybe. If that helps us keep the project on track,
That's
or
okay.
getting back on track.
Right, speak to me, I'll mention that also.
Okay, so the other thing is, we have been asked by the nursery school, Oak Lane, to not do any digging on the northeast side of the property until they can get some of their environmental people aware of what we are doing with respect to picking up the project again. So we have been very careful to plot out the area where some impacted soil was back in the day. And we have, I think the board will agree that the smart thing to do is to remove the entirety of that dirt. There was an option to bury it under a sidewalk or bury it under something here and there. My preference would be to get it out of here, off-site, have it remediated elsewhere. So that's going to happen as soon as our environmental guy can come down and make sure that where the snow fence is encircling that plot is where indeed the impacted soil was. Once that is determined, they're going to do some sampling there. Before they do any digging, they're going to put air monitors. And this has all been communicated with the town. They're on board with that. They think this is a fine approach. It's going to be the safe way to do it. So with air monitors, before any digging is done, they're going to do some sampling as well and make sure that anything that was impacted that is there hasn't spread past, say, where the snow fence is. It's expected that it was not, but if it has, we're going to detect that and remediate that as well. Before we dig in that vicinity, we're going to make sure that that impacted soil is gone. So we're working with the town and the nursery school to make sure that this is done in a proper way. And as I've said in several emails in the past, we want to be the good stewards here. We want to be do the right thing for this project and for future use of the property.
What, was this remediated before? Was the
It
property?
was, but that material was supposedly far enough underground, and the building plan, the footprint of the plan at the time, as I'm told, was not extending to that where the soil was left. This was back in 2017. So back in 2017, the report came in at 2017 that there was some stuff there, and it exceeded whatever the guideline was. I don't remember the code. And so our opinion, my opinion, I hope the board agrees, is that we need to get this stuff out because we are excavating there to put a foundation in for the ramp, and I believe it's in the back of the building, the entrance to the back side of the building. So they're gonna dig down to make a firm foundation footing for the concrete pad they're gonna put in, and in so doing, they would disturb that soil. So we're gonna excavate it, we're gonna get it out of here before they do any planning of that. So we're gonna work up against the edge of the building, correct me if I'm wrong. We're gonna work up against the edge of the building, the lower 3 bays. And start the process of digging for foundation work. And tomorrow, the tree company is gonna come over here and take the pole out that has the siren on it. And I am expecting that tonight I'm going to go down and disable the siren so that it can't be set off accidentally. And they're gonna take the siren off of the pole. They're going to dispose of the pole unless you have any need for it, training wise. I didn't think so. So anyway, they're gonna dispose of the pole, the tree company. And they're gonna secure the siren. I'm not sure where, maybe in the trailer or something. Where did you make a suggestion at some point?
I asked Reddy to
Seven
put
Street?
it in the trailer. I mean,
Okay.
this kind of falls
Yeah.
more for you than I.
Well, I don't want to use the trailer if you had plans on it, that's all. If
So
it's
where's
okay.
it gonna go?
Well, so I'm fine with the trailer if you're all right with it.
Again, I don't care where you put it.
Okay,
I mean,
alright.
it's,
How
again,
heavy
it's part
is
of
it?
communication,
About 3,
it's part
4,
of technology, so
Yeah, We'll get rid of it.
You
We'll,
know.
we'll store it safely with the cable as well. So it's gonna be stored someplace that we have access to for the
Is
future.
there anything special that Westchester Tree Life needs to do to remove that from the pole? I mean, they're a tree company, not a electronic.
It's a couple of bolts going through the base it's like some kind of a steel bracket, like a U-shaped bracket, and they trimmed the top of the pole so it would fit on and they bolted through it. So I think it's just a matter of a couple of wrenches and it'll come off. That's,
Disconnect that, boy.
Well, if it's of any,
Westchester Tree Life.
yeah, I did have to contact them because there was no insurance
Yeah.
certificate for them to do the work. Nor did they submit insurance for the trees, although I know they had it. So I have their insurance documents. And I was told, because I asked if they'd done that type of work before, and the answer was yes. They've done all different types of things, so hopefully that,
Yeah, if it fits in the trailer, put it in the trailer, so, I mean, it doesn't need to be out of the weather, obviously.
no,
But it needs to be someplace protected so it doesn't get damaged, so.
yep, exactly. Okay. All right, Ed, do you have any other comments?
Yeah, when I talked to Reddy, and I've spoken to you about it, what happens when concrete is poured in the winter and freezing weather? What they do is to put an additive into it, and which is really not good. We would have rather broken ground last March, April. So I want to speak to him about that and find out how they go about making sure that the concrete is poured properly with the proper additives if necessary.
Okay.
And I think heated blankets cure it, right?
Yeah,
Which adds to the expense.
yeah.
It'll be interesting how they provide the heat. I mean, where's it gonna get plugged in? Yeah, so that's an interesting question, if they have to do it, but if they're able to, maybe, if they plug it, if they are able to pour in the next couple of weeks, I mean, it's
Yeah,
looking
they
kind of
can
nice.
get it done.
Yeah,
And
they
like
can
the
get-
other night, I think it went below
Yeah.
freezing in this area.
Yeah, it did for one night, yeah. All right, anything else, Ed?
No, that's it. I'm
Okay.
done.
Okay, Commissioner Roush, you're up.
The immediate issue that came up was, heat in this side of the building this week. We had Robeson come in and take a look at, what was causing it. They did a full drain of the system on this side. Then the circulator pump was also making a lot of noise. So they drained it and a whole bunch I have a bucket of it downstairs. It's dark, black, brown
gunk,
sludge.
it looked like brownie mix.
So he took a part of the pipe where he found there was a problem. And if you could see, it was almost completely shut.
All right, what is it, arterial sclerosis?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's,
That's a heart attack.
wow.
and also the inside of the pipe is deteriorating, so you
Yeah.
could, if you touch this, you could see it's
Yeah,
very thin
Yeah.
and it's coming apart.
So Robeson usually bills you for removal of hazardous materials. They have a
It was
disposal. fee.
disgusting.
We still have the bucket, are we paying to dispose of what?
I think it needs to be determined that it's hazardous material. Right now, it's
Anything that
just
comes out of
rusty.
The heat system, they charge you for,
Removal,
even when they come and service your boiler for annual maintenance. There's a $5 fee. that's
$9
tacked on.
Robeson.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
so,
gloves.
yeah, no, I mean, the whole 9 yards, and
I know.
they take it all with them, so I mean, how are we going to dispose of?
It's a little bit in a bucket that I just kept if anybody wanted to see it
Need a
or,
hobby.
sorry,
Need a hobby.
I do need a hobby.
Well, they certainly.
collecting
the heat.
buckets of-
It is
Yeah.
weltering.
My new hobby is collecting buckets of guac.
Yeah.
Okay, anything further, Sean?
We had an issue that came up with lighting.
Well, we talked about that before you came
Oh,
in,
okay,
so, if you need.
I'll fill you in.
okay,
Mr. Carlock was here,
okay,
all right, so let's see what we can do.
all right.
All right, anything further?
That's about all I had for this month.
Okay, Commissioner Soldo.
All I have, Paul, you sized up,
10 cents a gear, we actually duplicated a couple of average sized people as spare sets.
right, and they're
So
coming
that
in
will be-
next,
And,
early next year?
well, we did get in under a 5% sale that they were having, so we did save some money on it with, and because it was a bulk order of 10 sets, they were promising 60 days, but we'll see what happens.
And that's coming off of this year's budget.
Yeah, and then what I'm gonna do is when I get the indicative invoice from them of what it's gonna be, I'm gonna hold it up. I'll chat with Katie to see how much room we have. We're probably gonna order some helmets and maybe some more hoods and gloves just to keep an inventory.
Yeah, and then that's it. I only see. For the past month, you only ordered 2 sets of gloves.
Yeah, oh, and you're gonna get, there'll be a AAA invoice for 10 glove holders, basically Velcro straps that people put their gloves together. When my daughter took the high school kids to get fitted, they were excited to get something to take home with them. For $10, we bought glove straps. Yes.
And yeah, that's it. That's it, turn out here.
That's all.
That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Zezzi.
Okay, we're up to date. I filed all the paperwork for the New York State and Homeland Security Cancer Act. All the questionnaires were completed and the renewals were hand delivered actually. So the members are good on that. Just to add to house, we did have plumbers here for the little leaks that we had, and we do have a lighting issue in the lower bay that will be repaired. Insurance, I mentioned the cancer. I also talked about the New York State Insurance Fund reps that came here. I think we should all talk because included in our insurance policy, they do have something similar to Vector Target Solutions where they offer free training courses. And for commissioners, I know everybody has to take the 1-day course, but they do have training that they recommend that people on the board take. I'll send the information out. It's free of charge, and I think we should take it.
You have a link and the
Yes.
name of the classes?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Online?
they're all online. There are multiple courses that you could take.
Okay.
So there's a couple of them that they suggest taking right off the bat. They did, by the way, look at the MSDS book to make sure that was quote up to date. They walked around, we were in good shape. We only had 2 incidents of workers' comp in the last 4 years. In addition to that, I just want to mention that we did have the fire department physicals, which went extremely well with the new station, the mental health screening station. I was talking to the reps that came and they actually have, I want to talk to Paul about this, a little newsletter that they will put together, maybe quarterly or something like that, that does address mental health in the fire department and EMS. They give you little tips, little tidbits, how to relieve stress, things like that. It's a big topic, which we all know, but these are little issues that they have found and ways to help firemen, firewomen get around those stresses. So I thought the visit was extremely helpful, and this was unexpected perk that
If
we
I could
received.
on that, the station that we added was, I wasn't really sure how well it was gonna be received by the membership. When I first told everyone it was going to be a required station, I didn't get any pushback from anyone, but until that day, I wasn't sure how it was gonna go. And then I randomly started asking people after they sat with the counselor, how did it go? What are your thoughts? And the overwhelming majority of people loved the concept. Some tweaks they'd like to make. There was a questionnaire we had to fill out with to measure our level of stress. And then the responses and your score fits within a grid. So, you know, whether you're high risk, low risk, dead, whatever it might be. With the exception of some tweaks to that, it was hugely well received. When I debriefed with the counselor afterwards, completely confidential, no names were shared. 4 members actually asked to see her privately in her private practice. So to me, if I do nothing else in my tenure as chief, that's, to me, was huge. One thing I've got to work out with Interstate is for members who take their physicals outside of our Sunday marathon, how can we offer it to them? I don't want to make so we have to go to ours to do it ideally, so that everyone gets the benefit of the conversation, I think, and that's the way I like to word it, the benefit of the conversation. And Commissioner Zezzi and I were talking about that. For a physical injury, everyone has some type of a doctor or they go to urgent care. So there's a process for them. For mental health issues, not everybody has a professional at their fingertips or is willing to call their HMO. Who could I go see? Because there's a stigma around it. So what we were hoping to try to find out is if there was a way that we could offer to our members, since this is PTSD related, that the district would pay for someone to say maybe have 2 sessions. This way it lays the groundwork for an individual that, not that they're going to necessarily address everything in 2 sessions with someone, but to say, hey, guys, we're investing in you. We want you to have this opportunity, and then let them take it to the next, go see somebody, talk to somebody. The hope is that it's gonna be like, wow, that was awesome. Just like people enjoyed the session while they were here for their physical, and then they take it to the next step if they need to, or they feel, this is just a great outlet to be able to talk to somebody, so.
Right, it was well received, and we were one of the first departments that actually have added
Yes.
that station. And very pleased that the members,
Yeah, it was.
She local? Is this a local person? You know?
I don't think she's that far away. We're actually trying to tweak. The only other local department had done this was one of the volunteer departments in Stamford. And the problem that they ran into was that the counselor spent an inordinate amount of time with everyone, just letting people talk. And again, it's the type of thing where you can't be like a regular doctor's visit where, okay, everything's good, great, move on. Somebody's talking, you want to see if they're going to go somewhere. So Interstate had told her to try to keep the conversations to 5 or 7 minutes, which it averaged out probably pretty close to that. She stayed about a half hour later than Interstate. Interstate was packed up and gone, and she still had a couple of people to see. So we've got to tweak a little bit about how that would work. But, when she was in Stamford, she was there, if Interstate was there for 4 hours for physical, she was there for 8 hours talking to people. So it is definitely something that's needed, that's wanted. And I don't think people realize necessarily that they wanted it. I mean, I know, for instance, Chief Zesny and I have had more than our fair share the last 2-3 years of sketchy, hairy calls and stuff like that. And it's, he and I work well together with checking in on each other and checking in on the membership. But this is also, you don't know when something is going to affect you. It could be 3 weeks from now, that bad call, something all of a sudden is going to click and you're going to be like, oh, this was awful. So I think, having this resource is huge for us. And like I said, she's a very nice lady. No one had any comments that they didn't like talking to her. They just wanted to refine the process a little bit.
Sounds good.
yeah,
Sounds good.
it was a very positive experience.
Well, on that topic, my significant other and I took I think I mentioned this to you. So we took the physical at another department that didn't have that. So if you hear of that facility or that
Yeah.
feature anywhere nearby, we'd be happy to participate
Definitely.
to come up to standards.
Barbara has one more, Interstate has one more for the season, I think, the beginning of December. Then she and I were gonna spend a little bit more time and kind of flesh everything out with planning for next year. And she wants to try to use us as a model, if we can come up to a way that works to try to offer this to other folks. Just and really quickly, just the other night, Bedford Hills had a training conference that they invited the chiefs to regarding peer counseling, and it was run by Paul Giacomo. I don't remember, he used to be a 60 control dispatcher, but and he's now a peer counselor. Matter of fact, we met with him when we had that really bad accident on the parkway where the gentleman was still in the car and it was on fire and there's nothing we could do. We all sat in here. And that was my first exposure to the county program. So it was very interesting to sit in on this. And then we were there, Kisco, Bedford Hills, and listening to what we've adopted as, we're ahead of the curve, very similar to how we were with training and the pre-firefighter 1 training, how well everyone was prepared, how well positioned we are with mental health and making sure the members are in a good place and checking in and making sure that they know that there's somebody to talk to, even if it's not me, that we can get them a resource, et cetera. So it's all the negative stuff from earlier in the meeting tonight. This is one extremely huge positive that I want to amplify for sure.
Sounds good. Anything further, Nancy?
No, how's the department liaison going?
Lovely.
Good.
Got a big hole in the yard next door. I think something about that.
We'll fill it in shortly. Okay, old business. We discussed the district policies and the project update. Anybody have anything they want to?
Yep, just the list of commissioners and the terms, Christine. We discussed that. If you can get that out, that would be good.
All right, new business. We already discussed the permissive referendum for the chief's vehicle. Budget transfers, red alert, records management system. We voted on them. Anybody have any other new business or old business they want to bring up?
Yep, the assistance to firefighters grant, this period is open.
Oh,
Open through December 20th. They do have an online training, Monday from 1 to 2, I believe it is. It's only an hour. I am submitting for the Cascade system. I've already gotten the pricing. It's $110,000. So we'll see. So anybody else interested, the grant period is open. It's the AFG grant. It's called Assistance to Firefighters Grant. It's in New York State. So apply.
I mean, Mike, if there's anything for turnout gear, because even then, if we use that
Motorola.
for next year, then we can roll that money into something else if we needed to, if we do get, or if it's one of those grants where we have to put the money up and got it for what we budgeted, then we want to get it back.
Mhm.
Is there a link for that site?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
sent to all of us, so you don't mind.
Okay.
All right, public comment, and then we have to go into executive session before we close. Public comment?
I'll be very brief. You know, when I hear the board members have excuses or apologize for doing their job, to me, it means they're not doing their job. And I think that needs to be addressed. It's something that's been brought up over and over and over again. Perfect example to why there's the policies. This has been going on 6 years, to my knowledge. So I'm gonna touch base with Michael Brody in the next few weeks, and I'm gonna write a letter to have an outside review of the conduct and management that's going on here. Because if people don't want to act in a professional, competent, and transparent manner, they shouldn't be commissioners. It's very simple. That's it.
Thank you.
And please
Okay.
quote me, Christine. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to go into executive session. Commissioner Zezzi has something to discuss. Can we?
What's the reason, just so I can know?
Personnel.
Personnel, yeah.
Here's my keys.
You're going to adjourn the meeting. then?
Yeah, we like to adjourn the meeting and then we'll re-adjourn and close out the meeting. So, all those in favor of going into executive session?
Oh, I'm-
We need a motion. You said second? Or I?
Aye.
Okay.
Once they
Who seconded? You wanted it?
Yep.
Who seconded?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Thank you,
You said
thank you.
turn them.
Yeah.
Thing on.
Yes.